Ma'am, Mr. Henry is downstairs with Colonel Pickering.
Oh, very well. Show them up.
Ma'am, Mr. Henry's in such a state, I think he's telephoning to the police.
If you had told me that Mr. Henry was not in a state, it would have been more surprising. Very well. Show them up. I suppose he's lost something. Oh, and do go up and tell Mrs. Doolittle that Henry and Mr. Colonel Pickering are here.
Yes, ma'am.
Eliza's gone.
Yes, dear, good morning. You must have frightened her.
Frightened her as if. She went last night, as usual, to turn off the lights and all that, and then she changed her clothes and headed right off. Her bed wasn't even slept in. And then this morning, she came and Mrs. Pierce let her in and let her have her things without even telling me. What am I supposed to do?
Not a thing, Henry. The girl has a right to leave if she chooses.
Ugh.
Good morning, Mrs. Higgins.
Oh, good morning.
Has Henry told you?
What does that fathead cop have to say? Did you offer a reward?
Oh, you don't mean to say that you've set the police on Eliza?
Of course, what are the police for?
I suppose that the inspector suspected us of some improper purpose.
Well, of course he did. What right have you to go and give the girl's name as if she were a thief or a lost umbrella or something? Really?
Well,
We want to find her.
And we can't let her go like this.
Oh, you two have no more sense, either of you, than a pair of children. Oh, why?
Mr. Henry, a gentleman is urging to see you. He's been sent from Carnegie Hill.
Say what? I can't see anyone right now. Who is it?
A certain Mr. Doolittle, sir.
Doolittle? You mean the garbage man?
Oh, no, sir, gentleman.
Holy mackerel, Pick! She's blown off to some relative. Somebody we know nothing about. Send them up.
Yes, sir.
Now we shall hear something.
Do you know any of her people?
Well, only her father, the man we told you about.
Mr. Doolittle.
Hey, see here? Do you see this? You've done this to me.
Done what, man?
This? Look at this. Look at my hair. Look at my suit.
Has Eliza been buying you clothes?
Eliza buying me clothes. Why would Eliza be buying me clothes?
Oh, good morning, Mr. Doolittle.
Yes. My apologies.
Oh, won't you
ma'am.
sit down?
Yes, thank you. I'm terribly sorry. I just am in such a way with what's happened to me.
What has happened to you?
What has happened to me? What has happened to me? Everything has happened to me. You've ruined me, delivered me into the hands of middle-class morality. You have, Mr. Higgins.
You're raving. You're drunk. I don't know anything you're talking about. I paid $35.91 for her. You have no right to take her away.
$35.95 for who?
For Eliza, of course.
Eliza. What does Eliza have to do with this? Did you or did you not write a letter to a certain gentleman who was going to invest millions of dollars into funding moral reform societies all across the world, and who you wanted he wanted you to do some sort of universal language for him?
Yes, Ezra D. Wannefeller, but he's dead.
Yeah, he's dead, and that's the point. Did you or did you not write him a letter that said, to your knowledge, the most critical and crucial moralist in the entire world was one Alfred P. Doolittle, a common garbage man?
I may have made some stupid joke like that last time you came.
Yeah, well, okay, some stupid joke. That stupid joke, he took it seriously, and he's now given me $20,000 a year from his pre-digested cheese trust as long as I lecture at his Wannefeller Moral Reform Society as many times as they want, up to 6 times a year, some such nonsense.
Wow.
Well, Mr. Doolittle, if you really are in earnest, you need not accept this bequest. Isn't that right, Colonel Pickering?
I believe so.
Yeah, well, it's not the lecturing that I mind. I'll lecture anyone till I'm blue in the face, or they're blue in the face, whichever one comes first. It's him making a gentleman out of me. Not a week ago, I had 2 or 3 relatives who wouldn't even speak to me. Now I've got 50 and not a decent week's wage among them. And you think bringing Eliza into this? Well, guess what? She's going to come back to me and expect me to take care of her too.
Take care of her? Garbage. I paid $35.91 and I haven't seen you since, and I, by Jove, will not be giving her up to you.
Oh, Henry, please. Eliza is upstairs. She came to me last night. She told me of the brutal way that you two treated her.
Why, upstairs, Mother? You could have told us this half an hour ago.
Brutal? We were hardly saying any words to her. We were quite nice as far as I can remember. Higgins, did you bully her after I went to bed?
She threw my slippers in my face, just as I'd entered the room, before I even said a word.
I think I know why. The girl is rather affectionate, isn't she, Mr. Doolittle?
Well, yes, ma'am. She's very tender-hearted. She takes after me.
You see, Henry, I don't think that you understand the nature of the brain in that sort of a girl. See, when the great day of trial came, and she did this marvelous thing for you, you just sat there and you didn't thank her or tell her how great she'd been. You two just sat and talked amongst yourselves about how glad you were that it was all over. And then you're surprised that she threw her slippers in your face? I should have thrown the fire irons at you.
Well, perhaps we were a little inconsiderate.
Yes, I guess we better behave ourselves. I was talking to you, Pick. We
Well-
put on our best Sunday manners for this creature we picked out of the mud.
Well, if you promise to keep those manners, then I suppose I can bring her down.
Very well.
Now you remember that promise, Henry. Oh, hello. Could you show Miss Doolittle down?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, and Mr. Doolittle, will you please go onto the balcony? I don't want your news to upset Eliza before she's made it up with these two.
Yes, of course, ma'am. Anything to keep her off of my hands.
How do you do, Professor Higgins? Are you quite well?
I...
Well, of course you are. You are never ill. Mrs. Higgins. Very good to see you again, Colonel Pickering.
Indeed.
Quite chilly this morning, isn't it?
Don't you dare play this game with me. I taught it to you. Now cut up and come home. Don't be a fool.
Very well put, Henry. No woman could resist such an invitation.
Are you going to forget about me altogether now that the experiment is over, Colonel Pickering?
Oh no, I could never.
Oh, but it was from you that I learned really good manners, you know. And that is what makes the difference after all. You see, it was so very difficult with the example that Professor Higgins put before me. Unable to control himself and using bad language at the slightest provocation. I should have never known that good ladies and gentlemen didn't behave that way if you hadn't been there.
Well, thank you, Miss Doolittle. This is all very nice, but this is just his nature. You know, he can't do any better.
Oh, well, it was only my nature as well when I was a flower girl. But you see, I did it, and that is what makes the difference after all. But do you know what began my real education, Colonel Pickering?
What?
You calling me Miss Doolittle that day I first came to Carnegie Hill. That was the beginning of self-respect for me. And there were so many little things that you did but never noticed because they came naturally to you. Things like taking off your hat and opening the door and standing up.
Oh, that was nothing.
But they were things that showed that you thought and felt about me as if I were more than a common servant. The difference between a lady and a flower girl is not how she behaves, but how she is treated. I shall always be a flower girl to Professor Higgins because he always treats me as one and always will. But I know I can be a lady to you, Colonel Pickering, because you always treat me as one and always will.
Thank you, Miss Doolittle.
Oh, Henry, will you please stop grinding your teeth?
I should like for you to call me Eliza from now on, if you would.
Right, Eliza.
And I should like Professor Higgins to call me Miss Doolittle.
I'll see you damn first.
Henry? Henry?
You know, I would slang back at him if I could, but I don't think I could utter one of the old sounds if I tried. The other day, as I was wandering about, a girl spoke to me. I tried to get back into the old way with her, but I've forgotten my own language entirely and can speak nothing but yours. Leaving Carnegie Hill will seal it for good.
Well, I can't forgive you.
Oh my goodness!
Wait, Eliza, don't look at me like that. Just because I've come into some money.
You must have touched a millionaire this time, Dad.
Well, yeah, I have. And, but that's not the only reason I'm dressed so spiffy today. Your stepmother's agreed to marry me.
What? You're going to lower yourself down to marry that common woman?
Oh, well, he ought to, Eliza. Why has she changed her mind?
Well, intimidated, Governor, intimidated. Middle-class morality claims its victim. Now, Eliza, won't you take your hat and come see your dad happy?
Well, if the Colonel says I must, I'll demean myself.
Well, now, you don't need to take a tone like that. Your stepmother hasn't had words with anyone since we've gained a little respectability. So I wouldn't really worry about it.
Well, all right. Just to show that there's no ill will. I'll be back in a moment.
Whew. Well, I gotta say, Colonel, I'm kind of nervous about the ceremony.
Well, anybody would be, but I mean, you've been through this before. You were married to Eliza's mother.
Well, actually, Colonel, I wasn't. And I haven't gotten around to telling Eliza, and I'd appreciate if you wouldn't say anything.
Right, we'll leave it at that.
Thank you. And I should be so excited if you would come to the church with me, Colonel.
Well, with pleasure.
Oh, may I join as well, Mr. Doolittle?
Oh, your ladyship, I'd be so honored by your condescension, and my old lady, well, you know, she would take it as such a great honor to have you there.
Very well. I will call the limousine. I shan't be more than 15 minutes. Oh, Eliza! We're going to the church to see Mr. Doolittle married. You'll come in the car with me, and Colonel Pickering, you can go in the car with the bridegroom.
A bridegroom? What a name! What a title!
Well, you'll come, won't you, Eliza?
I don't think Dad would allow me, would you, Dad?
Well, they played you off very cunning, Eliza. And Colonel, I don't hold anything against you. It was very artful what you did, and I'd have to say that if I was in your shoes, I'd probably do the same thing. And only God knows how many times a woman has taken me for a loop now and again. So I don't hold anything against you. And so Colonel, I'd be honored if we could go, and then Eliza, we'll see you soon. And Henry? Okay, well, we'll see everyone later there at the wedding.
Do come back to us, Eliza.
Well, Eliza, are you going to be reasonable?
You want me back only to pick up your slippers and put up with your tempers.
I haven't said I want you back at all.
Oh, indeed. Then what are we talking about?
We're talking about you, not about me. Talking about you, not about me.
I don't care how you treat me, you know. I don't mind your cussing at me. I don't mind a black eye. I've had one before. But I will not be passed over. I can do just fine without you. Don't think that I can't.
I know you can't. I told you you could.
You only said that to get rid of me, you brute.
Liar.
Thank you.
But Eliza, you never thought if I could do without you.
Don't you try to get around me. You'll have to do without me.
I can do without anyone. I have my own spark, my own divine fire. But, Eliza, I've learned something from your idiotic notions. I confess that, humbly and gratefully. And I've grown accustomed to your voice and appearance. I like them, rather.
Well, you have them saved on your gramophone and in your little book of photographs. When you're feeling sad and lonely without me, you can turn the machine on. It doesn't have feelings to hurt.
I can't turn your soul on. Leave me those feelings, and you can take away the face and the voice.
You
They're
don't
not
care
you.
a bit for me. I won't care for anyone that doesn't care for me.
No use saying you want to be cared for when you go slaving away. How can one care for a slave? If you come back for the sake of good fellowship, because you'll get nothing else.
And you may throw me out the moment I don't do exactly what you ask.
And you may run out the moment I don't do exactly what you want.
And live with my stepmother.
Yes, or sell flowers.
Oh, if only I could go back to my flower basket. Then I could be free, independent of you and of father and of the entire world. Why did you take my independence from me? I'm a slave now for all my fine clothes.
Not a bit. I'll adopt you and settle money on you if you'd like. Or would you rather marry Pickering?
I wouldn't marry you if you asked me. And you're nearer to my age than what he is. That's not what I want, and don't you think it. You know, Freddie Hill writes to me 2 and 3 times a day, letters and letters.
Freddie Hill? You have no right to encourage him.
Every girl has a right to be loved.
Yes, but can he make anything of you? That's the question.
Perhaps I could make something of him. But I never thought about if we could make anything of one another, and you can't think of anything else. I only want to be natural. I'll marry Freddie Hill, I will, as soon as I'm able to support him.
And how are you going to support him?
I'll teach what you taught me, phonetics. I'll offer myself as an assistant to Professor Nepean.
What? And teach him my methods? My discoveries? You take 1 step in his direction, I'll wring your neck.
Ring away, what do I care? Now I know how to deal with you, Professor Higgins. You can't take away the knowledge that you gave to me. You even said that I had a finer ear than you did, and I can be kind and civil to people, which is more than you can. That's done you in, hasn't it? I'll advertise it in the paper that your duchess is nothing but a flower girl that you taught, and that she can teach anyone to be a duchess just the same in 6 months.
Eliza, I'd said I'd make a woman out of you, and I have. I like you like this.
You go making up to me now that I'm not afraid of you and can do without you.
Of course I do. 5 minutes ago, you were a millstone around my neck. Now you're a pillar of strength. Eliza, you've regained your moxie. You and Pickering and I can be 3 old bachelors instead of 1 silly girl and 2 gentlemen.
Eliza! Oh, Eliza. The limousine is waiting. Are you ready?
Quite. Is the professor coming?
Oh, certainly not. Whenever we go to church, he's always remarking on the clergyman's pronunciation. Really?
Well, then I'll not be seeing you again. Goodbye, Professor.
Oh, goodbye, dear.
What you are to do without me, I cannot imagine.
Ha. Ha.